Mandarin Grammar with Chen 老师, woo! 大家好! Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chinese Grammar. We've learned a lot of question words so far, but we still have a few more to touch on. Today we're going to talk about the word 几, which means how many, and 哪, which means which. I grouped these two words together because they're both kind of quirky, because they both require measure words. We'll have a series of videos all about measure words, but here are the basics. Measure words are basically words that let you specify how much of a noun you have. So you know how in English we say a carton of milk instead of a milk and 5 plates of food instead of 5 foods? In Chinese, measure words basically work the same way. For instance, we could say 一个人, which means one person. And we could also say 三只狗, which means 3 dogs. In both cases, we can see it goes number, measure word, noun. The measure word in the first example is 个, which is the most commonly used measure word, and it's often used for people. The measure word in the second example is 只, which is often used for domesticated animals. So now that we know a little bit about measure words, let's look at the question words that use them. Let's start out with 几, a question word that means how many. For instance, we could say 你有几只猫? You have how many cats? Note that since the question word 几 requires a measure word, we put the measure word 只 right after it, since it's associated with domesticated animals, like cats. The answer to this question will just replace the question word 几. So if I have 5 cats, I can just say 我有5只猫. I have 5 cats. Remember to keep the measure word 只 in your answer though, because the noun 猫 requires a measure word before it. Another question word that requires a measure word is 哪, which means which. This can alternatively be pronounced as 哪. An example of a question you could ask is 你想去哪个地方? You want to go to which place? This time, the measure word 个 is used because the noun 地方 requires it. In your response to this question, you could just replace the phrase 哪个地方 with whichever place you want to go to. So I could answer by saying 我想去英国. I want to go to England. The question words 几 and 哪 almost always require measure words to go after them. However, there are a few exceptions. Some nouns, like the word 天, which means day, don't require measure words. For instance, you don't need a measure word in the question 你喜欢哪天? You like which day. Don't worry though, these cases are super rare. We'll talk all about nouns that don't require measure words in a future video. And that's a wrap on asking questions that require measure words. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out the interactive activity below, and I'll see you next time. 再见!